we meet again, as I knew we would. Is it so hard to believe that we are connected by more than happenstance? I am here in search of knowledge. Of course you knew that already. I have spent the last several days at the feet of a great teacher. A man whose understanding stretches far back into our shared history. His name is Ivan Hughes, geologist and scholar. His research delves into the hidden messages of relics, runes, and writings. He believes my necklace, the one you retrieved for me, possesses a deeper significance. I would like you to speak to him. If it's not too much trouble, take the necklace as a token of our trust. Despite what people will tell you, there is only one leader in Revival. Augur. He feeds off the instability and fear of our people. He wields the name of Telogris in pursuit of power, riches, and devotion. But he is not one of the preordained. Beware the false prophet and his minions. He was once a scholar in Edessa, I believe. A businessman and a scientist. His interest in me and my necklace is purely scientific. Master Hughes spends his days in the village studying the ancient Mitharan lith on the nearby hill. I must admit, the resemblance between those ancient stones and my pendant is undeniable. I have lived all my life in the Feylands, but my family fell apart during the Crystal War. My brother Helic joined the Warsworn, and I have not seen his gentle face in years. Even my parents' old gods were of little comfort. The world changed around us, yet no one seemed prepared for it. I came west to find my purpose, much as you did. The Chaos cult passes through our midst occasionally, but they do not linger. They care nothing for our people, no matter what Augur claims. From what I have heard, the preordained have a single task: to abduct and terrorize their enemies. He is a false god if ever there was one. I have seen him with my own eyes. Just a man, an ordinary man. Do not heed the fiction. For several weeks now, these kind people have filled the role of surrogate family. All of us wish for a new start, far from Fey conflicts. But we have stumbled into new conflicts. Chaos and order. Telogris seems to feed on our desire for peace. Revival is not a utopia, but most of its people look out for one another.
What are you doing back already? I ordered every Oathblade to search for corpses along the ridge. We've been finding pieces as far as the plateau. Do you want to be stripped of your stipend and sent packing? If not, you'd better quit with the shirking and rejoin your troop. The settlers from last night, you know the ones, disappeared after dark, found strewn across the cliffs this morning. Not exactly what you want to wake up to, am I right? Oh, so you think you're special, do you? I ought to... Wait a minute. You're not one of my regulars. Oh, Mitharu's beard, I apologize. I got a bit overzealous, I'm afraid. Things have been a bit tense in the camp, what with those damned Mitharans keeping their gates locked tight. These settlers have been holed up out here for weeks, scared, restless. And then the attack started. The Niskaru frenzies. It started as a single tent, and now it's a city unto itself. They call it Revival because the people here are hoping for a new start. Most are settlers hoping to find a new life beyond the gates. Others are veterans of the war, broken souls looking for a bit of peace. They hired our Oathblades to keep them safe. Let's just say it was a much bigger job than we anticipated. My teachers always said they were a myth, ancestors of the All-Main. But they're no myth. They live right here in these mountains, tucked away like a cat in a drawer. They don't take too kindly to outsiders, though. Closed the gates to their city as soon as they saw us coming. Well, that's what we call them anyway. Whole packs of the things. Agitated in a kind of bloodlust we've never seen before. It's all the chaos magic in the air. Some fool in the city thinks he's Telogris, and he's been working his followers into a froth. Telogris, the Chaos King? God of Unrest? Lord of Entropy? Please. What we need is less of the chaos spectacle and more hands hunting these Niskaru. That's how we make camp safe again. Who, that nutbat calling himself Telogris? Oh, sure. He soars past on his fancy lizard every few days, checks things out. He and his little cult spend most of their time behind the city walls plotting. Agarth? No. Can't say that I know that name. Of course, we get hundreds of settlers and travelers through here now that the path's been cleared. Fancy yourself an Niskaru hunter, do you? Well, I won't turn you down. I can even offer you a bit of gold for your trouble. If you survive. I was just readying a mission into the caves. The Freehold's a favorite den of the Niskaru. It's up the cliffs a ways. You can tag along if you like, but try not to get in my way.
There you are. I wanted to thank you properly. Please take this. One small token of my gratitude. Now listen. I have an idea. I want to set a trap for these bastards. Catch them in the act. We can use the cart you recovered, but we'll need explosives. Cave kobolds carry bombs with them everywhere. I've seen it. I'd explore the caves near here, and you might stumble on something. You've done it. Excellent. Give me the bombs. I devised a plan while you were gone. A good one. I'm going to pack my next supply shipment with explosives, but I'll act like it's a collection of my best inventory. I'll plan to leave tomorrow morning and park the cart along the warehouse. And then we wait. The thieves won't be able to resist. But when they come to loot or sabotage the goods, boom! Meet me behind the warehouse at sundown. Don't be late.
Thank the gods. I trusted in Lyria, and she has delivered me. My name is Maisie Calhoun. I've been missing for weeks, moved from place to place by these kidnappers. They snatch us from our tents and keep us captive until the auctions. Then they sell us as labourers to the highest bidder.
Preordained all the way up here. I don't understand, and I don't like it. Something strange about all this. Do you recognize those markings? Chaos worshippers. We should take a look around. I don't need a book to tell me what's going on. The Preordained are using chaos magic to summon Niskaru. We need to search the Freehold for any more of those cultists, and oust them. Well done. Hopefully that'll keep that at bay. At least for a while. Looks like you have to slay all the Niskaru before trying to close those rifts. Move fast or risk getting overrun. I've got a bad feeling that the Preordained have gotten into the Freehold somehow, even with the guards. Come on! Well, well, well. You must be the one putting the fear of Lyria into all of Revival's troublemakers. Can't say I blame you. But I pride myself on an orderly camp, and I can't have people doling out justice whenever they feel like it. Not even you. McGowan is my responsibility, and if he's using his power to terrorize the people he's meant to protect, he needs Fatesworn punishment. We tend to punish ours a bit more harshly than most. He'll get a lashing, a brand, and we'll turn him loose from our ranks. Unless you think he's had enough. Very well. It is a worthy cause for his abuse of power. The Fatesworn must stay true to our values. Next time, if you want to exact revenge for an innocent, talk to me first. Understood? In any other situation, that guy would be locked up for madness, or in a carnival somewhere. He's slippery, though. You have to watch him closely. He holds a lot of sway in this camp. We arrived when it was only a few tents, a circle of wagons. Now it's practically a village. Has a mayor and everything. If you need anything, talk to Finola. They call her Mayor Flanagan. Spent most of my time in Apatir, at Ironfast Keep. A desert rat. Don't know how I feel about all this snow and ice yet. This was a big job, so Fatesworn promoted me to acting Amalur. I run security for the whole camp. A gnome. Don't see many of those out here. She's a solid sort, reliable. Anything that comes through the camp eventually finds its way to Finola. Don't let her sweet act fool you. Quite the mix of people. You'd be surprised. There's even a large cluster of Telogris followers. Folks hoping he can give them a chance at a better fate. I wouldn't count on it. Their leader's a bloke named Olga. Pretty shady, if you ask me. A prophet in his own mind. I've been fighting the Chaos Beast since I was old enough to hold a sword. And you could say it's my life's work. So imagine how I feel about all this Telogris business. A real god of chaos here? Don't count on it. He's just some local kid with delusions of grandeur. He knows a good opportunity when he sees one.
It's good to see you again. I owe you so much. I still can't sleep, troubled by nightmares of my time in the cages. If only I'd had my ring. None of this ever would have happened. Maisie's luck never failed me. I'm a junker by trade, but I've been known to apprentice novice merchants from time to time. Settlers in these parts have a need for an honest trader, and I'm eager to pass along my expertise. My family arrived with the first group of settlers. My parents, my brother Dumbert. We had our futures all planned out. We trusted Finola with our lives, our property, our safety. And to think, she played us all for fools. Oh, well, it may sound silly to you, but I've always worn a ring given to me by my grandmother. Maisie's Luck. That's what she called it. Everyone in the village claimed she was a witch, but I never put much thought to it. Still, the ring did seem to bring me good fortune. I lost it when the kidnappers took me. I flung it from the cage, hoping someone would happen upon it and find me. Little good it did. You wouldn't think of it to look at me, but I was once a woman of status. My family has done well for itself. Influential. Rich. If you manage to locate Maisie's Luck, I will reward you well. You have my word. That would be lovely, but I have no expectations. Chaos reigns in Mithros, and all of Amalur for that matter. Kidnappers, preordained, Niskaru. It's almost too much to bear.
You weren't joking. You do enjoy fire. A little too much, if you ask me. I could see the smoke from here. Regardless of how it looks, you've done a good thing. Cursed flora ends up as a problem for everyone, especially troublesome mortals. We can all breathe a little easier. I'm going to linger here for a while, make sure the solution takes. Thanks again, Fireball. That's my name for you now.
Hello again. How has your journey been progressing? I didn't expect to see you back in Revival so soon.
I wasted a lifetime as a scholar in the Odessa Livrarium. What I should have been doing is living and learning among the people. I gave this place its name. Once it looked like we would be here a while, I knew we needed organization and leadership. I stepped in. I hired them, but everyone foots the bill. We need them. Between the Niskaru and the preordained, our people are scared.
The kidnapping ring? I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. We've had a few settlers go missing these last few months, but I'm sure it's a case of people wandering off. Accidents. You don't honestly believe I would harm my own people, do you? So you found one of the invitations, did you? Fine. I'll give you the truth. What did you expect? That I give up everything? Work tirelessly for days and nights, fixing the lives of these ungrateful idiots, and get nothing for it? I am kind, but I am no fool. If these people can't watch their children closely enough, then they deserve what happens to them. But I am not fully to blame. There is another. If you really must know, I was solicited by a noble woman in Crownhold. Philomena Goodchild. She is a high-born patron of some standing, but some of it comes from standing on the backs of others. I am but a link in a chain. Please do not hurt me. Killing me will not end the cycle.
And what do you want? Do you really think I'll start gabbing to some stranger? You don't even live in Revival. Go on, do your worst. I know, you're right, he doesn't. He treats me like dirt. All he cares about is sucking up to Telogris. I'm nothing to him. That's right. I was only following orders. And I was afraid for my life. Nobody crosses Olga. He's cruel and he's merciless. Okay, fine, please. You don't need to make threats. I'll talk. I never meant to hurt anyone. Olga wants to sow division and distrust, to convince his followers that it's time to leave for Telogris' city. But people are too afraid, too worried to leave Revival behind for the unknown. They think they want freedom, but they're afraid of the price it'll cost them. You're everywhere. I'm not sure if I like it. Wherever you go, trouble seems to follow. I suspect you hear that a lot. Oh well. I spoke with Oathblade Kirby, and according to him, I owe you a debt of gratitude and a bit of coin. Just try to restrain yourself from now on. I can't have too many rogue warriors running around this camp. Olga was bad enough. What did you say your name was again? I've never seen fighting like that. And I've seen my fair share. 20 years in the Fatesworn, but nothing even comes close. I'd have been a goner if not for you. This place, it's not just a ruin. Not anymore. It's been corrupted by something darker. This isn't just about Niskaru. I recognize some of these bodies. They're settlers who disappeared from camp. And they weren't killed by monsters. These are sacrifices. Chaos magic by the markings. I'd say this was part of some ritual. Perhaps it was used to summon the Niskaru. There have been rumors of a chaos death cult in this region, but I have yet to see any hard proof of it. Until now. Over the last few weeks, alone or in pairs, their people didn't even seem to raise a fuss about it. It looks like they've been made offerings, but to what? To Telogris? I don't want to believe it, but this scene suggests something very deliberate. Niskaru don't kill like this. This may be the work of Chaos fanatics, of the followers of Telogris. They'll do anything to seek his favor. Now, take this with some skepticism, but there are stories of a Chaos cult operating in these mountains. Devout disciples of Telogris. They call themselves the Preordained, some reference to their destinies as mercenaries and killers. They have the whole region on edge. I can only guess at what madness leads people down such a path. But the Preordained, and even some of the settlers, believe that fate binds us, traps us. They believe in Telogris' mad dream of destroying destiny, for everyone. They're willing to sacrifice a small number of people for the greater good, to weaken the web holding us all together. It's all a bit grand in scale for a lowly warsworn like me. Yes, you do. From what I've seen, you're the only one with a reasonable chance to stop what's happening. I lied before, and I'm not proud of it. I have seen Agarth the Fateweaver. He came through camp several days ago. I didn't know if I could trust you. Out here, you never know whom you can trust. If you can get beyond the walls, try the village, Gale Crossing. You'd want to stop there for resupply before heading into the mountains.
Do not fear me, my people, for I have traveled through death and madness to be here. Here for you. I am Telogris, god of chaos and liberator of your mortal souls. The lives you have been living are lies. Lies like those my enemies have told about me for generations. It ends now. Together, we will remove the scales to reveal the truth. That fate is what binds you to your miseries, and that chaos is simply another word for freedom. Come, join me. We will build a new destiny together.
Good day to you. Yours is a face I've not seen before. Listen, would you perhaps be willing to part with your teeth? Just a few, 2 or 3. I studied with the mages in Rathir, but they asked me to leave. Apparently, they were very uncomfortable with someone collecting their stool samples without their knowledge. The gnomes in Odessa wouldn't take me. Too tall. All I've ever wanted is to study the living form, to understand and grow. If it takes a few hundred innocent lives, so be it. Don't look at me like that. I'm from Apatir originally. Can't say I like the snow much, or the heights. The cold preserves the bodies better though, so you can store a good number of them. If you happen to have the right spot. Like a secret cave, or a... Incredible creatures. Pure chaos magic. Can you believe that? The best thing about them is that they're thoughtless monsters. Bloodthirsty beasts with no true soul or conscience. Nobody cares if you take them apart. It's as good a place as any. I can blend in, get lost in the sea of faces. Not as good as a big city, but good enough. You'd be surprised how few people like having an anatomist around. It's always, put that nose down, or is that blood? I like the mayor well enough, but I'm saying it now. Dibs on a skull. Oh, it's not just teeth. No, I'll take most organs. Some appendages, blood or sputum, but it has to be in a container. Something portable. I'm an anatomist, a searcher, and one cannot pass through the portals of knowledge unless one has the proper doors open before her. That means I need bodies, preferably dead ones. My latest paper deals in the anatomy of the Niskaru, a controversial topic to be sure, especially since I've never seen one. Listen, if you ever find yourself close to a Niskaru's mouth and you're not about to perish, collect its fangs for me. You know what they say. The teeth are the windows to the mouth, I guess. That's very reassuring. I've asked nearly everyone else in camp and I've become quite the pariah. If only everyone had your penchant for corpse harvesting. Science.
I've had it with that Warden Blackwood. A blowhard, a coward. He refuses to even look into my vermin issues. Vermin, rats, you know the kind. Any idiot weakling could exterminate them, given he or she has the right tools for the job. A hammer, a sword, a fireplace poker, anything. Wait a moment. Are you the exterminator? Did the Warden actually hire someone to solve our problem? A noble profession. No village, castle, or ruin can go too long without the prompt removal of vermin. We all must start somewhere. Excellent. Let's talk about payment. We don't have much to offer in terms of compensation, but we will do our best. Payment on proof of a successful job, of course. It's improper for money to change hands before service is rendered. I'm sure you understand. Mallory, Nina, and I haven't used the warehouses in weeks because of the, issues. You're free to take a peek. I'm a man of great renown in my hometown, Odessa, where I was raised to expect the finer things in life until, well, we lost everything. I've taken it upon myself to reclaim my family's fortune and its honor, one transaction at a time. Needless to say, it's going very slowly. Very slowly. Wait, this is Mithros? I'm expected in Minotaur. Unless, oh, pardon. My schedule is, it's a bit messy, complicated. I'm sure you understand. Yes, Mithros is fine. Cold. Avoid the cultist if you can.
Cold out there. I'm probably not the first to tell you this, but you aren't dressed nearly well enough to fend off this chill. Listen, I've got the gear you're looking for. Clothes, armour, potions. I'll treat you fairly, outlander or not. But I'll close at sundown. Most of us in Gale Crossing do. And if you're smart, you'll find a safe space to hole up too. Nobody should be out after dark. I took refuge here one stormy night, as I crossed the mountains with a wagon of my finest fares. I found warmth and opportunity. Haven't left since. It's been nearly 10 years now. I'm a merchant and trader, originally from the Wolds, in Dallentarth, a small village called Ayton. When lawlessness grew too taxing, I picked up my business and headed west. You haven't heard? Well, seeing as you're a guest in Gale Crossing, let me be the first to warn you. Beware the night barguest, the bane of Three Winds Crutch. They say it's cursed, victim of a witch's dark vengeance. Emerges with the light of the moon and stalks the village till sunrise. Around here, hunting the night barguest is practically a pastime. It's what all the young folk do after filling their bellies with wine. Legend tells us that it makes its lair up near Three Winds Crutch. But no one knows for sure. My advice? Stay safe in the village. And don't mention it to those fools Roth and Beatrice. You'll be better off. I've never seen the creature with my own eyes, but I've heard it's a barguest. Could be a spirit, or a Jotun, even a practical joke for all I know. Its first victim is believed to be old Niles McNutter, who disappeared into the foothills months ago. Young lovers. Drunk on love and ale, those two. Think themselves immortal. No fear, no brains. Every night they venture into the crags to search for the night barguest. They wish to slay the beast and become part of its legend. During the day, you can find them in the Gemstone Tavern, draining their cups of liquid courage.
Good day. You're welcome to use the forge, unless you're preordained. Then you'll have to go elsewhere. I mean it. My husband and I moved here from the plains 10 years ago. We were raised travellers. But as we got older, the life didn't suit us. We left Moon Camp and settled here in the village. It was perfect. Quiet and calm. The ideal place to start over. That's a loaded question. What haven't they done? Nothing's been the same since those killers set foot in Gale Crossing. Listen, I work closely with some concerned parties in the region. They have a standing offer. Every member of the preordained carries a talisman on their person. Proof of allegiance to Telogris. Small, silver, cheap. But if you can get your hands on some of these talismans, I'll pay you good money in trade. And the bounty is open to anyone. Now, let's change the subject.
You interrupted me in the middle of a particularly difficult translation. Now I'll have to start all over again. Oh, why hello. You must have been sent by the Crosswomen. Yes, that must be it. Master Ivan Hughes at your service. I am but a humble scholar, possessing expertise in both geology and gemstones. Miss Cross and I had gotten to talking when I noticed her peculiar pendant. It's quite old, you see. Quite uncanny. However, I noticed that it bears a stunning resemblance to ancient Mitharan stonework scattered throughout these very hills. I offered to make some additional comparisons, but, well, this region is quite hostile to newcomers. Perhaps you'd be available to act as a sort of bodyguard. Only if you're willing, of course. And I'd only need security when I'm doing the translations. Most historians believe that Mitharans are responsible for the region's impressive liths, but I have my own theories. I propose these structures predate the Empire of Erethel and date back to the Deep Gloam itself. They were shaped and etched by the gods themselves. Oh, wonderful. Some of the liths are located in areas of questionable safety. I'm quite adept at travelling in Mithros, but to stay in one place too long is to invite tragedy. You'll be the perfect deterrent. Here is the first location. I'll meet you there once I've gathered my supplies and updated my notes.
Oh, look at this fresh face. Still got the glow of the East. Tell me, Freshie, you been in Mithros long? Toenails fallen off yet? Name's Mallory. This is my family's place, the Gemstone Tavern. You need anything? You talk to me. You won't believe it, but this tiny town has been here for centuries. The only way station between the city and the Feylands. A warm hearth and a cold drink. Safety from the storm. Lived here all my life. Born and raised at the base of these mountains. I'm Almain, but I've got cousins among the Mitharans. You've got to be close out here to keep warm. I've got no patience for bullies. We've done fine here in Mithros without Telogris and his band of merry cutthroats. Whenever they roll into town, there's mayhem. Are you kidding with me? Agarth, that old drunk who wrecked my place not but 2 days ago. Damn Outlanders. Yeah, he was here, though I was glad to see the back of him. The warden and a few brutes dragged that sloppy fate weaver off to Madding Wind. Serves him right. It's an old Mitharan ruin, east of the village, through the switchbacks, over the river. They say it used to be an Arathi reliquary. All the oldest, shiniest junk. Arathi never wanted anybody going in, and now the preordained don't want nobody coming out. Interesting. So you're looking for dirt on the prison. What does that make you? An escape artist? Honestly, the best way to go to jail is to commit a crime. No easier way than that. Unless you're willing to pay, of course. All right then. Now you're speaking my language. Listen, Warden Blackwood, he's the law in Gale Crossing, and he does his drinking here at the Gemstone. I overhear a lot. I'd talk to him. Maybe, maybe not. You'll need to hand over some coin to find out which. That's right, hand it over. Oh, something so nice about a heavy pocket. So, I know some of the village merchants use Madding Wind as free storage, but I'm not sure who. I'd ask around.
It's a pity. The Groot was a good man. To think he spent 5 years fighting the Tuatha, only to come home and die like this. A brutal crime. He deserved better. The Mitharans left it empty for years out of respect for their god of order. But it's a solid old rock, picked clean but sturdy as hell. When the preordained rolled in, they started using it to stash their prisoners. I don't ask questions, I just take the money and run. What? Help you free that wastrel Agarth? Not a chance. I have some scruples. Mama Blackwood taught her boy well. Unless you're willing to pay, of course. I have not signed anything, if that's what you mean, and I do not get paid. But yes, I will aid them when asked. There are other methods of compensation. One of them is to be left alone. That's more like it. To win out here, you've got to play the game. Here you go. A key to Madding Wind. Service is rendered. I hear you've been asking about that ale sponge, Agarth. Trust me, you're better off without him. I marched him off to Madding Wind myself. No witnesses, but it looks like the killer used a dagger. That puts everyone in Mithros on our list of suspects. What about you? Interested in helping us solve this mystery? Can't offer a reward or any resources. It'll be just you and the truth if you can find it. Luther de Groot, a local. He served with Alfar up until a few months ago. Heard he was stationed in the Far East, Chloricon. Vets don't find much welcome when they come home, not even the few from Mithros. Poor kid struggled to find his place. Glad to hear it. We don't get a lot of murders around here, but crime is on the rise. It's the damned preordained. Feel free to check out the body for clues.
I'll have it taken away for examination later. And talk to folks. People always got a lot to say. Let me know if you learn anything. Just a mountain kid. Knew his way around the cliffs and passes. Solid, like a slab of granite. Something about this time on the front line shook him to the core. He was never the same after the war. He lost something over there.
If you need supplies, go talk to Mallory. She owns the place. I just sweep up. The village has always existed in the shadow of Crownhold. But the city isn't for everyone. I prefer a slower pace of life. Our people are good folk, even if many of them are smugglers and profiteers. Survival hardens people, toughens them. I was looking for that fool Rothgarver, to bring him something he left in the tavern. Not because we're sweethearts. The monster sprang from the brush, eyes glowing, claws pale in the moonlight. I nearly wet myself. I haven't gone out after dark since. You won't catch me talking to that fool Roth again. He's nothing but a fool boy. He and his friend Niles McNutter showed up here months ago, looking for work as mercenaries. When Niles vanished, Roth found companionship at the bottom of a bottle. He's not the first to do it. Luther was a regular around the gemstone. Probably too much for his own good. Sometimes the bottle is a man's only friend. He didn't talk much. I should have reached out to him. Been a friend.
Welcome. How can the gemstone make your day a little brighter? We always seek to please. Sure. Lou came back. Maybe 3 months ago. Been a bit of a skulker since then. Unsure of what to do next, I think. Oh, it's a lot for these soldiers to come back. Especially here in Mithros. Our people never felt as close to the war as others. Good thing he had Nettie Blevins. She was a childhood friend. Lives up in Crownhold. Oh, those two were thick as thieves. Even enlisted together when they reached fighting age. You should talk to her.
You don't look like preordained, Mithara neither. And sellswords are too smart to come all the way out here for the money. Chaos cults are bad for business. Listen, this may be your lucky day. My name is Ferrin Shaw, trader, opportunist, finder and dealer in lost things. I've come across a few items that may be worth something to a person as worldly as yourself. Ever since the city fell, it's become a dynamo of shady deals and profiteering. So yes, I love it. The preordained make life pretty difficult though, but more often than not, they're in on the corruption. I had a pretty good situation in Crownhold, until the preordained ran me out of the city. Now I'm stuck outside, looking to find new customers among these settlers and refugees. That's if the Niskaru don't get me first. Merely a resupply depot. I tend to travel in more influential circles. Crownhold is where significant deals are made. Gale Crossing is quaint, but its offerings are paltry and few. I hear the real treasures in the area are locked up in Madding Wind. Understand these are only rumours, but stories describe that old ruin as a veritable storehouse of ancient relics. Imagine it, all those treasures locked up in one secure location. Glad you asked. Some people out here in Mithros don't know when they're staring a good deal in the face. Perhaps that's why they're still scrabbling away in the mountains. Recently I've come across an item of great monetary and historical value. A pair of gloves. And not simply any old pair of gloves. These are a part of Last Breath, the suit of armour worn by the Executioner herself. You don't know the Executioner? Well, let me be the first to educate you. She served the Crownhold royal family for years, the most influential general in the city's army, until she was betrayed by her own men. Donning a mask, she became a vigilante. Her first act of justice? Hunting the very wolves who had betrayed her. Everyone in Mithros reveres the Executioner. She gave all of us struggling folk someone to look up to. Fair enough. But understand, this deal, it's not for the gloves themselves. No, I'm selling the details of their location. Did I not mention that? Sometimes I doubt such a person existed. She holds a place of myth and legend, a figure of great deeds. But I know better. She was very real to the people of these mountains.
What is it? Do you not see that my time is valuable? A good child's time is always valuable. Outrageous! Prisoners! I have no idea what you're talking about.
Guards! Guards! Where is the security in this place?
How many times must I tell you? I have not seen the beast. But let me warn you. The preordained will never succeed in dominating the will of nature. If the wild fae must feed, they must feed. I do not care what your Chaos Lord demands. You will not stop the migrations. And you will not find Peaches. It is a relic of another age. A kingdom trapped in time. Its people are a direct link to the early civilizations of the West. But Elogris has corrupted the city and all of Mithros. His chaos magic disrupts everything it touches. In the beginning, I was sent by the Domus Politico as an agent. They wished to assess the threat posed by the Mitharans, but the people here accepted me with open arms, and I soon made Crownhold my home. I am more Mitharan than gnome now. He was only a pup when I found him beneath a blooming bloodroot. Small, injured, needy. I nursed him back to health, and we formed a bond. It broke my heart to release him back into the wild, but it was the right thing to do. He and his preordained thugs arrived nearly a year ago. They entered the city under arms and banners. The trusting Mitharans didn't have a chance, and the city surrendered in a matter of hours. Wait. Oh no. You're not from the court of Telogris. I should have noticed that straight away. I do apologize. Peaches. Oh well. He is a Cliff Barguest, a friend. I rescued him many years ago when he was a pup. I guess you could say we formed a bond. I fear for his safety, as the preordained have been ordered to clear the woods near the city. They relish a good hunt. Peaches and I have not seen each other for years. But I would hate for him to get caught in this culling. Would you be willing to help me locate his den? I would see to it that you're compensated. Chaos magic has intensified across Mithros, causing disorder in the natural world. The wild fae are restless and angry. Telogris hopes to eliminate the threat. He has sent his minions to kill any magical creatures that may rise up. I had a feeling you might. An experienced tracker is needed to locate Peach's current den, and I'm not qualified. You'll know him by his limp, and he has a stripe of white along his spine. Once you find him, I'll come to remove him from the forest. Hopefully I can find a new home for him elsewhere in Mithros.
Careful. We're still cleaning up the scene. It's a murder. City girl. Didn't have a chance. Her name was Nettie Blevins. She was the daughter of a high-born Mitharan lord. I'm going to have my hands full. They already took the body inside to the dock. All that's left is to find the killer and clean up the blood. I'm glad it's a doctor who examines the bodies and not me. Grisly job. I don't know how he does it. She was a special girl. Tough. Had all the money and influence in the world, but she chose to kick around with street kids. I heard she was recruited into a special Alpha Ranger squad because of her connections. She's only been home for a few weeks. So young. So much wasted potential.
I'd give you a proper welcome. But the city hasn't been very welcoming lately. I'm Captain Coach, leader of the Crownhold's garrison. Normally, I'd be wishing you all the best in our wine and pleasure halls. But all of Crownhold has ground to a halt during the occupation. Roads in and out of town are blocked, strangling supply lines. I was brought up under the tutelage of the Martial Masters, a warrior sect steeped in discipline and spiritual meditation. We embody Mitharu's teachings, seeking order in the chaos of battle.
I've only been a captain for a few weeks. They executed the old captain when he failed to follow orders. It is a city under endless siege. The preordained wish to control the people, but they have no wish to protect or care for them. That leaves the rest of us, the collaborators, to keep our citizens' best interests in mind. But every day it grows more difficult. They hold all of Crownhold in their grip, congregating around the Temple of Order in the city's center. But they are a sloppy, angry lot. No proper training, no clear objectives. Telogris is all that unites them. He is the antithesis of everything we cherish in Crownhold. We have spent generations building a great culture, and he seeks to bring it all tumbling down in a matter of months.
Funny you should ask. It's our own men and women blocking movement along the mountain road. Deserters. They left the army when Telogris occupied the city. Now they've set up blockades to keep the preordained from receiving resupply. Only it's not only the preordained who use these goods. All of Crownhold suffers. Innocent families, elders and children. Something must be done. But I don't have the heart to face my own soldiers on the battlefield. It's not intentional. They're trying to prevent the preordained from getting what they need, but it's not working. Instead, the citizens of Crownhold are being robbed of food, medicine and items for basic survival. I have the coin, but not the manpower. So if you're truly interested, I won't hold you back.
The deserters built their barricades along Crow Peak to the west. Be careful. You will face harsh resistance.
They are strong fighters. I trained them myself.